If you've ever realised that your closest friends don't appear to be like they used to be, then this is a video for you. I'm going to be talking about 6 signs that tell you it might be time to say goodbye to your friendship, and at the end I'll be telling you 3 ways to proceed if you've found it is indeed time to move on. So let's get straight into it. Number 1. When you find yourself second guessing your friendship. When you realise your friendship has changed and you just feel like different people. You don't seem to have much in common anymore, and you don't have anything to talk about. All the things that you used to have in common just don't seem to be the same anymore. Number 2. You don't communicate anymore. It's when things change and you're going in different directions, but you carry on as though you haven't. You still think of them as your close friend, even if you haven't spoken to them in ages. You barely see each other anymore, and there's no longer any real effort to get together anymore. And then you try to arrange a get together, and one or the other starts to make excuses, and they end up sounding empty. Or they make an excuse for why they can't and say they'll get back to you, but they don't. Number 3, you want different things. Sometimes you want to do different things in life and you need to let go. Trying to coerce them into continuing a friendship that means one of you has to forego your plans isn't right. Number 4, you found other friends. You may not realise that you're drifting apart until you meet new friends and become close with them. When you're with that new friend and you find yourself more compatible than you are with your old close friend, that's a sign it's time to let go. It's not that you're being horrible, it just means that your priorities have changed. Now before I carry on, if you're watching for the first time and you're finding this content useful, I often talk about life lessons such as this and a variety of other things I find interesting, including nostalgia, music, telly, and even some of my life stories. If this sounds good to you, click on that subscribe button and ring that bell to make sure you don't miss anything. Carrying on. Here's sign 5 that a close friendship seems to have run its course. They've broken your trust. This is a sad reason, but it does happen. Trust is the foundation of a friendship, and once that's gone, things never seem to be the same, and it never moves forward and gets better between you and your friend. Perhaps you've had an argument and too many things have been said that can't be taken back. Or they've done too many things to hurt you to save your friendship. This can happen to men as well as women. They just don't admit it so freely. Forgiving them is of course an option, but the best thing to do is move on with your life and find new friendships with someone else. While it's easy to forgive, it's not so easy to forget. Number 6, you're the one holding on. When you feel that you're the one making all the effort in your friendship, when you realise it's pretty much one-sided and it's you making all the effort to keep it alive, it's probably time to say goodbye. When you realise that you're the one who drops everything when they need something, and when they never reciprocate when it's the other way around, it's pretty much over. If they're not bothered enough to contact you or get back to you when they said they would, it's time to spare yourself the indignity of going back and to move on with your life instead. When you keep going back for more, it's not good for your self-esteem when you realise that you're trying to stay friends with someone who clearly doesn't value you. Letting go of someone who's been important to your life is one of the most difficult things you can do and one of the most painful decisions you can make. Often it feels like you're grieving a loss, because that's what it is. You can also feel anger and sadness when you accept your decision. But it's the right thing to do, and you realise that it's the right thing too. Because we all change as life goes on, and your friends will move on in different directions without realising it for a long time. We all change as we go through life, and we learn and grow as we have different experiences of life. You and your friends can drift apart over time, even if you're the hurt one. It may have happened so slowly that neither of you had realised that you were heading in different directions. There's no doubt it's hard when you realise that the person you thought so much of doesn't feel the same about you, but that's life. And instead of clinging on, you shouldn't be held back by them. trying to keep what you used to have alive. As I said at the beginning, there are 3 things I'd do once you realise it's time to move on. Number 1, don't fight with them and argue over it. If they don't get in touch with you, even though they say they're busy, it's not because of that, it's about priorities. When something or someone is important enough to someone else, then they'll always find time for you. 2, just be quiet. Once you've made your decision, leave their life quietly. Silence is better than arguing, trying to prove a point. 3, don't keep making yourself available to that person. You're important, and being at their beck and call because you feel guilty won't make them value you anymore. Don't be available for someone who isn't available for you. Let them miss you, and then they'll know your value. Now, I hope you found this video useful, and if you click up there, check out this video and ask yourself, what makes you happy? See you next time.